The U.S. president is Donald Trump.
We have so much to celebrate today. Big Papa Trump is back in office. We hit 1,000 subscribers here on the channel. Look at us. Who would have thought?
Not me.
I just want to talk about how Trump's administration is bringing beauty back to America. And obviously with thanks to RFK Jr. and making America healthy again. But oh my goodness, we're done with the last administration and all those gargoyles. And gone are the days are lying to our youth and the American citizens, trying to sell them on this lie of the toxic body positivity movement. Do you remember last week when TikTok went down for 13 hours and all the libs lost it? And then they even got more upset afterwards when they heard that Trump might be saving TikTok.
Hi everyone, it's Show here. As you know, we have been fighting to protect the constitutional right to free speech for the more than 170 million Americans who use our platform every day to connect, create, discover, and achieve their dreams. On behalf of everyone at TikTok and all our users across the country, I want to thank President Trump for his commitment to work with us to find a solution that keeps TikTok available in the United States.
Look at the right side of the aircraft, you'll see the Gulf of America.
So much is happening in Mexico today. Mexico is sending 10,000 troops to the border to help stop the fentanyl crisis. They're closing their border. Before Joe Biden left office, he signed an executive order that there would be no drilling off the shores of the Gulf of Mexico. So how do you work around that? Because that's trillions of dollars. That's our economy. So you change the name.
A short time from now, we are going to be changing the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America, and we will restore the name of a great president, William McKinley, to Mount McKinley, where it should be and where it belongs.
Okay, so it all started, remember that whole mess they had in Mexico? Remember when the other administration was in charge? They had the CBP1 app. And that app was, oh my God, it was such a mess. Since they have demolished it, I think Trump has gotten rid of it. But what it was an app for immigrants to come over to America to claim asylum. Now, this app didn't start the process of you becoming a legal citizen. Oh no, it can't do that. But everyone thinks it's everyone from Mexico and it's just a bunch of Mexicans. But this app was any criminal from other countries. You could be from Haiti. You could be from Venezuela, any country, any criminal from another country. If you come to another country illegally, then you are a criminal. Anywho's, how this app used to work is you would go onto the free app. You would say you want to come to America and you would wait until your time slot where you would get a plane ticket, a boat ticket, Brought to you by the American people, our taxpayer dollars. We would, fly you over to Mexico City where there would be a tent city outside with a bunch of people from tons of different countries waiting in this tent city in Mexico City, waiting for another said plane ticket or boat ticket by the American people to then send you over to America. And all the gifts didn't just stop then. Once you get to America, then you get free health care. Not like the American citizens do, but you do. And you get free housing, you get some food stamps, you get to eat. Isn't that nice? Wow. America's great, isn't it? Well, once Trump got into office and started the mass deportation, he started sending all the criminals back to Mexico. And then Mexico had an issue with it. They're like, wait, these people aren't from our country. Why are you sending them here? And it's like, yeah, but you use your port of entry to sneak them into America. I want to talk about how love him or hate him, but Trump is American culture. When's the last time you feel like when MTV used to play music videos?
Not adjust your television. The sound you hear. MTV buzz clips. Plug in.
Or when we used to have Coca-Cola wars, remember which one tastes better, Pepsi or Coca-Cola? Pepsi tastes better than Coca-Cola. That's the answer.
Okay, folks, what'll it be?
What would you like, sweetheart?
A Pepsi, please.
Sorry, we only have Coke.
Now you've done it.
You're sorry? Not half as sorry as you're gonna be. I ordered a Pepsi, pal.
She's got a mind of her own.
What's with this guy?
Look, I just thought...
You thought? What you really thought was that I don't know the difference between Pepsi and a Coke, right?
Here's your Pepsi.
Thank you.
Or like what else? Like California raisins.
Raising the California sunshine.
Gizmo. But I feel like Trump has brought so much culture back, like fun culture. And not just in the last 10 years, like when he's been president. Even before. Like what was he doing before? He was in everyone rapped about him.
Take over the world when I'm on my Donald Trump shit.
That's why all of us that remember how loved he was find it so crazy that the smear campaign that the media did actually worked. And I guess for the younger people or people that just don't remember how much Trump's loved. Look at all these songs. I had to do a screen recording just to show you how many songs, because I can't just pick one song. There's so many good songs people wrote about him, loving him, calling him a pimp, which back in the day used to be a good thing. You know, everyone gets so offended nowadays. You know, pimp is a bad word now, but it used to be meaning you're cool. But look at all these songs. I couldn't just pick one.
Look at all this money. Ain't that some shit?
He also was in so many movies. He was in Little Rascals. He was in Home Alone. Everyone knew him as being like kind of like Batman. Being, not Batman. Who's Clark? Nope. That's Superman.
You're Bruce Wayne, the Prince of Gotham. You'd have to go 1,000 miles to meet someone who didn't know your name.
First of all, what are tariffs? Tariffs are like taxes. Like trading taxes that countries put on each other to trade, like their products and services. They like put a tax on it, and those are tariffs. In America, every other country put tariffs on us, like because we get a lot of imports from other countries. But America, we don't apply tariffs on other countries, but we used to. Unfortunately, we don't build that much here in America. Like, we don't have that many factories.
We don't build anything, Phil. We don't make anything.
We do have some, like our automobile industry.
So funny to see this repeated cycle of Trump announcing tariffs and then the left freaking out like the world's about to end, and then the tariffs working exactly as intended.
These trade agreements were written by corporate America, were written by Wall Street. The goal was to shut down plants in America, to stop having to pay workers in Iowa, Vermont, this country, decent wages.
The same people who praised Bernie for saying that the American worker was being ripped off by globalism are now bashing Trump for saying that same thing. The same people who used to praise Bernie for pointing out how Wall Street was raking in profits by exploiting cheap foreign labor and cheap foreign goods are now whining with Wall Street about the stock market.
You're doing it.
I'm only wearing this shirt because of the thumbnail. Because like we're talking about like dyes and food. And when I think about colorful food, I always think about Hook, one of my favorite movies, when they start throwing all the colorful food. And I wanted to dress like a lost boy.
And finally, and most importantly, I want to thank President Trump. President Trump often, says that he's going to make America great again. But he knows that he cannot make our country great again if our country is weak, if we're not healthy, if we don't have vigor, if we're not a robust people. He says that he's going to restore the American dream. And a healthy person has 1,000 dreams. The sick person only has one.
RFK is really on the right track to making America healthy again.
Today, the FDA is taking action to remove petroleum-based food dyes from the U.S. food supply and from medications.
I'm going to pretty much regurgitate what Jenny McCarthy said on her TikTok because it was perfect. I don't know how Jenny McCarthy is still like surviving today with a smile on her face, because for decades, the media like just dragged her through the mud, called her every name in the book, along with conspiracy theorists, because God forbid she's a loving mom who cares about what she puts into her child's body. So apparently a lot of the drama surrounding all this are people are saying that RFK Jr. said he wants to eliminate autistic people. And I was this is where I was confused. And I'm like, wait, what do you mean they're saying I don't know. So I had to do a deep dive video after video. Like, what do they mean eliminate autistic people? The only thing I could come up with is since RFK Jr. wants to find the cause of autism, like focusing on looking into air, water, environment, genetics, just looking into everything, that he wants to eliminate autistic people. Like eventually they won't exist if we know the causes, I think.
Robert F. Kennedy Jr. questions why the autism rate is 1 in 31 children and people lose their ever-loving mind. It's stigmatizing, it's dangerous, and somehow he's calling for eugenics? Come on. Where was your outrage when Fauci locked your autistic children out of therapy? When he forced your sensory children to wear a muzzle? Y'all called it science when there was no backing to it. RFK wants to study environmental triggers? Fauci pushed the ones no one could question. You didn't care about the stigma when your children regressed. You were not in an uproar when your children's mental health was affected in isolation. So spare me the moral panic. This man did not dehumanize anyone. He's not trying to exterminate anyone or exclude anyone. He wants it to be prevented from more children being diagnosed with it. But really, the ones that are screaming the loudest are parents of high-functioning autistic children. They will never have to hold their child down in the middle of self-harm. They will never have to change their adult child's diaper. They won't have to worry about who's going to take care of their child when they're no longer around. Go talk to the parents of the 25% of severely autistic children, because I am yet to find one that is offended by this question. Instead, I'm finding lots of parents begging for answers.
Speaking of the media has always wanted everyone to believe, and the government, that Trump is anti-gay. But what if I told you that Trump was the first American president to ever step into office supporting same-sex marriage? Obama sure in the hell didn't, not when he was first elected.
Marriage is the union between a man and a woman.
I have been very clear on this. I have said that I am not a supporter of gay marriage.
What I believe is that marriage is between a man and a woman.
Do you support gay marriage? No, Barack Obama nor I support redefining from a civil side what constitutes marriage. We do not support that. That is basically the decision to be able to be left to the faith and people who practice their faith, the determination what you call.
But Trump walked on that stage in 2016 holding the pride flag pridefully. And today, during Pride Month, I want to talk about the truth that the media refuses to admit. Oh boy, we got a doozy. So liberals heard that Trump changed a few phone prompts and immediately thought he outlawed the rainbow or something.
The Trump administration has moved to end a specialized suicide hotline option for LGBTQ plus youth. It's known as Option 3. Now, the general 988 hotline is going to stay in place, but some local nonprofits say removing the tailored Option 3 could make it more difficult for kids in crisis to get the help they need. Fox 12's Leslie Dominique has more on the story.
This hotline is a line of defense against losing our youth.
Blair Stenvik with the LGBTQ plus advocacy organization Basic Rights Oregon says the Trump administration's move isn't just a policy change, it's a step backward.
The Trump administration is not shutting down the National Suicide Hotline for LGBT youth. So let me break it down for you really quick. We spend $33 million federally on a press 3 option for the national hotline, right? What President Trump is doing now is saying, listen, there's going to be a hotline. Anybody can call the hotline. There's not specific for any specific group. Do you understand? So you can call the hotline. This is what makes me so angry, because it makes it seem like if you're LGBT or if you're LGBT youth, you can't call the hotline. And this is what I find, this is what happens on the left. This is what happens on CNN. They subsidize and they separate people to say, oh, President Trump is against you. That's not what's happening right now. For so long in this community, we fought to be, no labels. Don't label me. We're normal people. We're normal. We're, nothing's different about us. And now this is what we're fighting for. We're fighting to have a option 3 button on a hotline. No, this is for people who are actually really, really, really need it. And this right here makes me so absurdly angry because, again, it just makes it seem like we're telling people that they can't call now and President Trump is against the LGBT and this and that. No, we're just not separating ourselves because at the end of the day, we're all Americans, we're all humans. We don't need an option 3 button, okay? We're regular people.
Personally, I think it's tremendously important and useful to have these crisis hotlines, right? Like, for our youth especially, some youth don't have parents or guardians that they can talk about their feelings with or feel comfortable to talk about their feelings with. I am no stranger to a nervous breakdown. Dark night of the soul, I've had a few.
I knew this girl, she had this crazy freak out because she took too many behavioral meds at once, and she just ripped off her clothes and dove into the fountain at Ridgedale Mall and was like, I am a kraken from the sea. That was you. Well, it's good seeing you, Suchin.
Removing an extra prompt, and the people are doing the same job anyway. Fewer prompts means faster help, and no one's life is more important than the others.
Please listen to the entire message, since our message has recently been changed. If you are straight, press 1. If you are gay, press 2. If you are trans, press 3.
1 hour later.
If you are an indigenous trans woman, press 48.
Can you imagine if there was no prompts? It would be more like this. Thank you so much for calling in. My name is Annette. I'm here to help. Can we start off with your name? Oh, God forbid if your house was on fire.
Thanks for calling. Are you gay? Press 1.
Obviously, the war is not completely done with, but this is the beginning stages of it. And Trump did bring peace to the Middle East before. One of the only presidents that has. It's crazy he's done it again. This is what, the 7th or 8th war he has now stopped? Obama wishes. But this is the beginning stages, like I said. They're releasing the hostages on Monday. This is what we wanted. And all those little kids that put in the comments, free Palestine, with all the little watermelons, they're going to be silent because they never cared in the first place. It was never about the war. They just hate Trump. Let's start all over again. What are we talking about today? I'm talking about Christopher Columbus Day. Trump brought it back.
We have your Columbus Day proclamation for Monday, which we're signing a bit early. Christopher Columbus obviously discovered the New World in 1492. He was a great Italian explorer. He sailed his 3 ships, the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria, across the Atlantic Ocean and landed in what's today the Caribbean. But this is a particularly important holiday for Italian Americans who celebrate the legacy of Christopher Columbus and the innovation and explorer zeal that he represented.
In other words, we're calling it Columbus Day.
Yes.
I'm not going to bring up politics. I'll just talk about surface level stuff next time I speak to my parents. So he spoke to his parents again, and then his mom asked him, why is Trump deploying the National Guard to Chicago and all these different cities? So already this is a huge weird red flag since she's the one that never wants to talk about politics. So does she really want to know, or is she trying to do a gotcha? But I think this is a good learning moment for anyone. If anyone really wants to know why Trump is deploying the National Guard to these different places and these different cities. Obviously, everyone on my channel, we all know why he's deploying them. But I mean, we should have these conversations. Maybe people really don't know. Maybe we need to have these layman, simple conversations explaining why all this is happening. So if you live in a blue state, a blue city, people tend to vote blue, obviously. And unfortunately, when you vote blue, that means a lot of leeway for criminals, because you feel bad for criminals. Like, they can steal up to like $1,000 worth of merchandise, and they know that. And they go in each store, and that's why all your products are locked up behind glass. A lot of the stores are closing down in New York. Are there drugstores there in Target anymore? Also, in blue states, you vote for more gun laws, but guess what? Criminals still have guns, and there's more gun violence in those blue states. In like red states, that people that carry, no one wants to F around you, find out.
The people who say that gun control will fix all the gun violence do not realize that before 1968, you could order a gun out of a Sears catalog with no federal government background check and have it delivered to your door. Basically, no questions asked. And before 1968, mass shootings virtually were non-existent.
Like, remember when that one leftist chick said, just because you committed a crime doesn't make you a criminal? That's exactly what it means.
I do want people to know that just because someone has committed a crime, it doesn't make them a criminal.
And when these people get in prison, they don't stay in there that long. And most of the time, they don't even have bail. They just get released. And that's why there's so many people that get unalived by these repetitive career criminals that have been let out 50 times, 60 times. There should be stricter laws for them to stay in longer, because obviously they don't learn their lesson. And due to how everyone votes, there's nothing police officers can do. Their hands are tied. It's the law. They're kind of like just security guards looking around, like there's not much they can do. And Trump can't control the police officers because he doesn't control the states. But you know who Trump can control? He can control the National Guard, and he can make the National Guard go out to these cities and protect these cities, because there's so much crime. I've seen women crying, so happy that they can actually drive down the street with their window down and not have to lock the car. Things were bad.